Are you ready, Annie?
Yes, I am good to go.
Okay. Everyone, may I introduce you to the wonderful, amazing Annie Chi? Would you like to introduce yourself?
So yeah, hi, I'm AnnieChieDesigns. I am a. Oh, is everything okay?
Yeah, everything's good. Sorry.
Oh, we got it. Oh, sorry, I just got an error thing on my side. Okay, we're good. All right. So hi guys, I'm AnnieChieDesigns. I'm a cosplayer from Brockville, Ontario. I am a professional in the sewing industry and costuming industry. I'm a historic costume specialist. And yeah, I've been cosplaying since like 2010. I do a lot of like Legend of Zelda cosplays and historical based builds. I'm really passionate about like handcraft and like learning new like especially like needlework type techniques with textiles.
Hmm. If you see their cosplays up close, you're gonna see so many cute details. I want to eat them up so bad. Like,
They're delicious.
very,
Fun little details are yummy.
of course. We're gonna get straight into the questions. You ready?
Absolutely.
So Annie Chi is, like they said before, they are a cosplayer. They also work in the textile space, but they're also a content creator. So how do you balance your time between crafting, content creation work, and the regular everyday life?
So what I do is I do combine a lot of it together in a sense. Like when I am working on my like cosplay projects or something I'm really passionate about, I am also always working on a video. Like I always have like I am reaching it and touching it right now. I have this arm that extends over on my sewing machine and everything. It is always ready to go so I can film the projects I'm working on. And like whenever I'm planning out projects and stuff, I'm always thinking about what is the project and what video it will go with kind of idea. So even if I'm not like uploading super regularly, because sometimes I slow down a little bit just so I don't overwork myself, I always do have a video in progress. And I find that that works really well, even though it doesn't mean a lot of super frequent uploads on YouTube and stuff like that. It does mean that like I still am like what's the word? Um, like progress is always being made. If I'm making cosplay progress, I'm also making video progress, and that kind of keeps me, I guess, kind of sane and like on track. And it's always exciting because when I finish a cosplay or whatever the project is that I want to make a video of, it gets a it means that a video will be coming soon for it as well. So there's like it's like a double of not finish the costume until the video is finished almost. And I find what I do a lot of is I kind of look at where I am. I'm also, I do have chronic fatigue
Oh.
on top of all of this. So something I do a lot of is I kind of like monitor how I'm doing. So if I'm like, I've been very tired, I slow down because if I keep going forward too fast, then I'm going to burn myself out like crazy. So I look into like how my system is working out. And I guess that's kind of the best way to describe it. Um, and like I'm able to balance work and cosplay in the sense that my work, which I'm a historic costume specialist at a major historical living history museum here in Canada, here in
Mm-hmm.
Ontario, and that job keeps me creatively inspired to the point that I come home and I do actually want to work on projects. I want to spend my weekends working on projects, get to learn things there that I get to then take and work on my like my own stuff and get inspired on what I want to do with my stuff. Um, so it's a lot of choosing projects that keep me motivated, keep me inspired, and then again, while I'm working on those projects, the content comes along with it, if that makes sense. Then when I get the photos and stuff, I get content out of that as well on the like the other social media besides my YouTube. Because yeah, I do. That's one thing I didn't mention. I am also a cosplay YouTuber, a costuber, as we call it.
I love that name,
So I think
CosTuber.
I love it. It's such a clever name. It's super cute.
I know you mentioned that at your job as the historical, as like you work with historical costuming, are there any techniques that you learned from your historical costuming? Like any specific techniques that you've learned that you implemented into a costume?
So I have learned how to do a straw hat from scratch.
Oh, I remember this.
Um,
I love it.
yep.
I love it.
And I love working with straw, even though like you could make the Anakin quote like, "Oh, it's scratchy and it gets everywhere." It's rough, it's coarse, and it gets everywhere. That's working with straw as well. But I really like it as a medium. I've gotten to hone in on my skills in millinery, which is hat making and just in general, because I've learned some of that in school. Got to do some millinery there, but then I get to like really push it at my workplace because we do it. It's an 1860s village, so everyone wore hats back then. I've got to learn eyelet lace embroidery. I have access to
Ooh.
all sorts of really interesting patterns and patterning books. So all the different I have access to a lot of resources, and in that sense, I am also a resource. If anyone ever has any questions, come message me. I might have an answer for you. If I don't, I can send you in the direction of somewhere that might. Um, I've also gotten to learn tatting because of work, which is
Oh,
a type of
tatting.
lace making. The
Oh Lord.
tatting, yes. Tatting, for those who don't know, is a lace making technique where you use a shuttle, which is this little guy, and you make lace that kind of looks
That is
like this.
gorgeous. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's just a
When I
little
see you at
piece. I'm
Yeti, I
making.
hope you know that that specific lace is getting stolen. I'm taking that.
I will be working on it there because I'm doing a cosplay crafting hour at YetiCon actually, and this
Yes.
is the one I'm bringing because I can fit this stuff in my pocket. I can fit it in my bag super easily, so I bring this on the go all the time.
Would I
But
put
that's
on
something I
top?
got to learn at work too. And like I'm surrounded at work by really incredible craftspeople. We have a dressmaker, we have a weaver, we have the mills as well, which we have a textile mill,
Oh my
and we
gosh.
have a quilter, a crafter, like all these incredible craftspeople. Not to mention like the trades textiles, like we do have a blacksmith.
You have
We
a
do have a tinsmith.
blacksmith?
Yes, we do. We have a
Oh my
blacksmith, a
god.
tinsmith. We have a cabinet maker, so a carpenter. We got all these cool craftspeople, and a lot of times they're just really passionate about talking about their craft. So they're not just telling people about these things; they are actively making things. Like when I have to go cut into like a corset busk at work, and I'm like, none of our cutters are strong enough. I scoot over into the actual village itself and go, when there's no visitors around, go, hey, blacksmith, could you just cut this for me? Thank you. But yeah, I get to learn from very passionate craftspeople in my job. So even though I'm like behind the scenes, like no one, I'm not out in costume with all the villagers. I get to, these are my peers, these are my colleagues. I get to learn from them. Like I said, like I'm a resource. They're also resources. And sometimes if you're like, hey, I'm really interested in learning this thing that that you do, they might just teach you a little bit. Oh, we also have a shoemaker, so like I've
Oh,
gotten some leather making resources from them too.
I would not be surprised if the next big AnnieChieDesigns cosplay has like a fully woven sword and your own shoes made by yourself. And like, oh, I just made these all at work as a side project.
The joke is that like last year I learned tatting, I learned gold work embroidery, I learned all these things I really found out I really enjoyed. And then a coworker made a beautiful drop spindle, which is what you use to spin yarn when you before the spinning wheel was invented. And I'm like, okay, I want one. So I got one and I tried learning, and so my older coworkers were just like, oh, and now she's learning to spin. When will she be learning to use that spun thread to make her own fabric? And I'm like, we're getting there.
I think I was talking with someone at Anime North about you. Obviously only good things.
Oh,
And I'm like, I'm mentally preparing myself for Annie to pull out and be like, so here's my fabric weaver, and I'm gonna make my own silk today. All for this cute little Legend of Zelda cosplay that's 3 pixels wide.
so funny you do mention that. I have a very dear friend who also, again, works at the village, but is also like a good friend outside of work as well. And this individual, he is amazing, and he's like, oh yeah, I've like mentally like noted down how textile production would have worked in Hyrule.
Oh, of course.
And I'm just like, okay, I'm gonna need you to write that down for me, and we're gonna need to do this. Because could you imagine making a Legend of Zelda cosplay, like a Princess Zelda cosplay, using the same textile making techniques, not even just the dressmaking techniques, like how what kind of fiber would they use? Okay, let's find a real life version of that. So if it's like, oh, it's like a wool, okay. what is the closest to their fictional sheep and this kind of stuff. So this is an idea in my head that I eventually do want to like, and not even like some people be like, oh, is it just because you want points in a competition? I'm like, no, it is for the love of the game, for the love of the craft, and I find textile creation really fascinating. So that's something I'm like wanting to learn really bad, and I find super interesting.
You can tell with you, like, I have been watching your YouTube videos before I even figured out you're Canadian, which is something that, with the way you pose, I should have known you were Canadian, but it wasn't until the World Cosplay Summit video that I was like, wait,
Wait a minute, she's representing my country?
what are you talking about? But you can see your passion for these textile techniques and all that, which is going to lead me to my next question about your schooling, because I do know that you're like formally educated within fashion design. So did you go to school for
Yep.
fashion because you love cosplay, or did you fall in love with cosplay and textile work because of school? Which one came first, the egg or the chicken?
Yeah, so for me, it was cosplay that came first. I discovered it when I was like 13 years old, or actually 12. By the time I started cosplaying, I was 13 though. But discovered it by accident while looking up for a new Legend of Zelda like backdrop for my laptop kind of thing. I was like, wow, this person's really good at drawing. This Link looks so realistic. Turns out that was a cosplayer, and that was a picture of Lai Kavox, the very, very well-known Link cosplayer and Legend of Zelda cosplayer in general, who has like worked with Nintendo and stuff. So very incredible artist, and I was like convinced this was like a photorealistic drawing of Link. So I was like, cosplay, what's this? And then I got into it as one does, the very typical origin story. And then I realized as I started making, like, to me, the concept of buying cosplays was never on the table. I have a very crafty parents, very encouraging crafty parents, and my mom had a sewing room. So I was like, okay, we're gonna go raid that and make some costumes
Hell
now.
yeah. Hell yeah.
And I realized, like, I've always been really artsy, so I realized that like something just clicked in my brain. Like, there's sometimes people say, oh, you only enjoy that thing because you're good at it. It's like, no, no, no. I enjoyed it when I was bad at it too. Something just about seaming two pieces of fabric together and then a few more pieces of fabric together and eventually having a thing going from 2D pieces and then eventually a 3D garment tickled my brain in the right way. And that's kind of when my mom realized, she's like, okay, I think you're going to be considering going into like this area for study and stuff. So looked at a few schools and stuff, and I settled on fashion design at Fanshawe College in London, Ontario.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because one of the highlights was that they have a postgraduate. So the only prerequisite for the postgraduate that I was interested in was that you do the fashion design program or a related program. And the postgraduate was in theatrical costume production, which was
Perfect.
really cool with a brand new campus with really cool projects. The syllabus was incredible, which is so nerdy to say, but I was like, okay, this seems amazing. And there was an option for a practicum as well, like a practical like internship
Yeah.
at the end as well, which those are very valuable. So I was like, okay, I think this is where I need to go. Because then other programs, it was either fashion or costume, and they were 3 to 4 years long. This way I could get both and not have to do, because if you go for one and then go for another, that's like 3 years, 3 years, but there's a lot of overlap of content.
Mm-hmm.
While they're very, very different, learning the basics of sewing is learning the basics of sewing. While there are some differences in both fields, learning how to do a French seam is learning how to do a French seam. I don't need to learn how to do that twice. um, so there was that kind of stuff. And then when you jump into the costume program, it was really cool. People had all sorts of different backgrounds, but most of us were from the fashion program. And we were able to jump right in. Some of the stuff was like review for us in the very first few months, but then it was so cool because we got to just add on to the knowledge we already had and then be able to compare the two was really incredible because like some people think they're the exact same thing, but they're really quite different. So those were the programs I went for, and that's actually how, well, not actually how I got into my current job, but I was very lucky that I knew someone who worked at my current job site by coincidence too. Like
Ooh.
this wasn't a plan, but I realized while I was in school, especially in my second year, I realized, wow, I really love fashion history. This is really interesting. I was really happy that the costume program talked about fashion history a lot because that's very important when you're a costume designer. So I was like, okay, I guess we're going to. I think we're aiming to the costume, the fashion history side. And again, I happened to meet this person who works at my current workplace, and they got me some contacts. And when I went up to my teacher and said I want to go to this site, they said they had never sent anyone there, but they would really like to. And like, oh, we don't have any way to contact them. And I just slipped them the email. I was like,
Smart,
I have a
smart.
contact. And I was really lucky. I got an incredible internship opportunity over there. And that isn't how I got my current job because there wasn't an opening for years. This is my fourth year now at the job. But I had a really incredible education because, like, a really good program in fashion, a really good program in costume. Like, I really liked that program. And then a really lucky internship where I got to put it all into work. And then when I came into the job itself and it opened up, I already knew a lot of people there from when I did the internship.
So this was just all
So
walking
it was
together.
like
That's perfect.
it was great. It felt like I was just coming home, you know? Like I was like,
Aw.
like the pandemic happened in between all of this too. So it was like a post-pandemic homecoming. And I just jumped right back in as if I had never left. It was really incredible. But yeah, it was my educational background, like I learned so many like valuable things in there. I know this field is not for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Creative fields can be tricky when it comes to formal educations because I know plenty of people who have the same amount of knowledge or skill level without having gone to school because some creative brains don't work well with the structure of the education system.
Mm-hmm.
So they find other routes in order to do it. But it's actually it's really fascinating because and also the people you meet in these programs because it's very logic and math, but also artistic and creative. So it's really kind of cool to study in these things. But that's the cool part is that you don't have to. And just because someone did doesn't necessarily mean that they're gonna like if there's other cosplayers out there with the educational background, doesn't mean that they're necessarily always going to be the best in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Because it depends on how you use that education
Mm-hmm.
more than if you have the education.
I
So that is very important.
I was gonna ask, how has this specific education helped you in your cosplay creation? And how many costumes did you make while you were in school? How much of the school resources did you use specifically for your cosplays?
Oh yeah, we were allowed on off hours, and if it wasn't taking up a spot that someone needed to work on their like school projects, we were allowed to use the facilities and stuff like that. So absolutely, and there were several cosplayers in both programs, so we
Mm.
would actually do that quite often. And sometimes we would be like, okay, clearly I needed to practice this type of technique or something like that a little bit more. So the teachers would be like, here's a piece of whatever this material is, so you can use it to practice, and we'd use those to make cosplays, or sometimes even some of my classmates were like, well, if I have to make this project, I'm going to make it a piece for my cosplays. So that
Hell
actually did
yeah.
happen as well. They used to actually have, and they took it out when I was there, but in the beginning of the program, and this was one of the things that sold the program for me, but they had a final project where you had to make a costume of a character, any character you wanted. And you had to do like the costume design research, like the background, use the right fabrics, do all the pattern work from beginning to end as if it was like you're doing it for the theater.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went to like the open house for the program and someone was telling me about this project, she then like gestures over to a beautiful Madame Red cosplay.
You're gonna
And she's
hate
like, so
me?
this is my final
I don't
project.
know what Madame Red is. I'm sorry.
Black Butler.
Oh,
Black
oh my
Butler.
gosh! I know Butler builds. Now I'm imagining in my head.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And I was just like, oh, okay. Um, they did take that project out in my year. There was a few years they didn't
Boo!
do it, but I
Boo!
did find out that through this is actually really funny. I found out that a few years later they put that project back in.
Oh.
And I found this out because I saw a video of a cosplayer I recognized. I'm like, hey, I've seen this cosplayer at Anime North. And it was like how I made my cosplay. So I'm like, heck yeah, I want to see how you made your cosplay. So, I click on it, I start watching it, and I'm noticing in their videos, I recognize the studio space that you're making this in. I was like, I recognized those mirrors, the iron, the tables, and then I realized that Raven Glaister cosplay went to Fanshawe College for costume production.
Oh.
So that was I think it was it last year or the before they were in they did got best in show.
Yes,
This
yes,
is
I
Trashy
remember.
Raven cosplay, the duo.
They made
So the
that?
Raven half, they
Huh?
went to the same program as me
Oh,
years later. And her final project was Ida from the Owl House.
oh, I remember seeing their costume of that. That was so cool.
Yeah. So that was actually like their final project. So they, I think actually, they got to do that project. I was like, I'm so jealous that they didn't have it in when I did the program. But like, what a small world. But yeah, that's the really cool thing. So we were allowed to use the facilities off time, weekends, stuff like that. And I would say like that for the other half of the question, what was really cool was that you could see my progression happen like this. Like most people's progression kind of like you start off improving, and the line kind of eventually slows.
Mm-hmm.
You're still improving, but it's not as fast. Mine was kind of a straight like boom because I was learning so much so quickly and I was doing it practically full time. So
Mm-hmm.
like I went from like I went it went pretty quick that I noticed big differences and like just from learning basic things and it being like drilled into my head and then learning pattern drafting was wow, that was a big one for me.
Oh, I hate pattern drafting.
Because
I hate it. I hate it. I hate it.
there's hardly anywhere to learn it properly unless you're in like one of these school programs because YouTube videos can be so hard because you have to know that like if you want to know how do I do this in pattern drafting, you need to know the terminology already to like
Yeah.
Google the word or YouTube it. So I was like, this is incredible, and they taught multiple ways of doing pattern drafting. So like the flat patterning, which is what I really like because my brain likes math, and then there's like the draping like on the mannequins
Mm.
over
Yeah.
here. So I found that like that opened up a whole new world, and right away I started using pattern drafting in my cosplay projects, and that started to become something I was like really interested in. Was the pattern making elements. I always find like the structure and like the shapes of the pattern pieces super fascinating. Like that's my first thing that I'm like, delicious.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and just in general, like my cleanliness improved, my fit improved, but my range and scope and my perspective on how to make a garment work improved. It wasn't just, does this look like the character? It started to become, does this function as the character's clothing? And that, like, again, it opened a whole new world. It gave me new perspectives on how to finish things and how certain garments should be finished. And honestly, it was really cool. And when I got to learn the historical stuff, that opened a whole new door for me there. It was a lot of like new perspectives, and I was practicing all the time. I had weekly sewing classes, weekly patterning classes. So when you're doing this all the time, because there's not just the classes, it's all the homework and all of this stuff, you improve very quick.
Mm-hmm.
And I was also dedicated to learning. Like everyone who was in fashion, I find everyone had like their own thing and what their goals were with the program. Some people wanted to be the designers. They were artists. They were like in their sketchbooks. Like, yes, you had to learn all of it, but there were some people like me who like I want to learn how to construct clothing. Everyone had to learn how to construct clothing, but some people were interested in designing clothing and some people were interested in making it. Some people were into the pattern making and were very mathematical. Some were into fashion business. So we had all these different skills, all these different interests and corners converging. So my thing that I was like super focused on was I was like, I want to be a good pattern maker and I want to be a good sewist. I want to be a good sewer. So I was like super dedicated. I would be practicing. I would learn things. I would practice things like outside of class. I'd be like, okay, I just learned this thing. I'm gonna go try this on a little sample over here, and then I'm gonna put it into my next cosplay.
Mm-hmm. You.
Getting to use the sergers at school was
Oh, please
great because I didn't have a serger.
don't get me started on sergers. My high school had a serger, and
Your high school did?
my high school had an entire fashion course. You had to be grade 12 to take the course, but they had sergers. They had an embroidery machine. Guess what they did in my grade 12 year?
they get rid of it.
They shut it down for construction.
No,
And I'm like, you're telling me the one time I can actually take this class. Oh, by the way, it's gone.
that
But
is that's heartbreaking.
but well, being able to use a serger. And also, I wanted to mention your historical fashionness. That's not the word I
Hmm.
should use, but I love how you specifically say like I don't want to just look like the character. I want to be the character within the costume design. I feel like that's a
Hmm.
part of cosplay and crafting in cosplay that not a lot of people take into account because I can make a beautiful intricate costume, but if the character can do a high kick and my ass can't do a high kick in the costume because I made it too tight, you know?
Hmm. Yep. I like to think of things with that perspective for sure. Like it's again, it's not just about the looks. Like what undergarments do you have to wear to make this costume work?
Mm-hmm.
And like in this character's world, would they have a zipper on this costume? Sometimes I do just put the zipper in. It's easier. But sometimes I'm like, okay, but what would the closure look like? Buttons? Guess we're doing buttons.
Yes.
And my mom hates it because my mom hates a hook and eye closure
Me
like
too.
so
She's valid.
much.
She's very valid for that.
Yeah, I'm like, I get it. Not a favorite, but most historical, a lot of historical gowns, a lot of historical blouses. If it's not buttons, it's hook and eyes. Skirts, hooks and eyes. And like, there's so many times where she's helped me get into cosplay, and she's like doing up the back of my blouse. She's like, I hate this. I hate this. Just use a zipper. And I'm like, no, I can't use a zipper. Would it probably be easier than doing this? Probably, but I can't bring myself to do it.
Me and my
And that's
sister
just my own personal thing. That's just the like, realism.
Me and my sister have the same arguments because she's like, why do I have to lace this up? You could have got a zipper, you could have got a button. I'm like, that's not what they would do though. This is like the
Yeah.
18 million hundreds, you know? They did not have zippers back then. I wish they did.
Yeah, exactly. And the other thing is like, sometimes you're like, oh, wait, so they did that this way? Well, now I'm learning how to do something new, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
That's something I really like as well, is just, oh, now we're learning this new technique, or how that placket works on this skirt. Like there's weird things you run into sometimes when you start to like look into stuff. And this can go for any time period, including modern to like futuristic ones, like characters who are futuristic. Sometimes you look at, or in a modern time setting, you go, what are they trying to tell us this garment is? And I
Mm-hmm.
find that part really fun. I like dissecting what the character design is supposed to be and like figuring out how I want to make it based on my interpretation of what the costume designer and or like art concept artist was trying to do with the character.
You also see it in like modern day, but between different cultures, because the way that we do textiles here in Canada or in the West is very different from the way that they might do it in Asia, South Asia, East Asia, Africa, all those
Absolutely.
places. And as someone who loves a good anime and loves a good Japanese video game, I'm like, okay, time to go onto this niche Japanese website and use Google Translate for everything. Like,
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like that is also lucky that we have tools where we can do that now because it makes researching a lot easier as long as you're being very careful about using like AI features that are going to tell you the wrong direction.
oh yeah,
But um so you can lead to like some really cool resources. And my favorite resources are other people.
yes,
Blogs, I wish more people still blogged like back in the day because you learn so much from people like posting about projects they're working on or research that they did, and then suddenly they're talking about a book and you're like, what's this book? And I need this book now to go learn this thing or to read about this like niche topic within your like interest.
mm.
And then you go down a whole rabbit hole about arsenic.
Arsenic. Is this from a specific example?
Yes, absolutely. I work in the 1860s time period. It's like a little fun factoid, and I bring it up every once in a while on my social media, and it always throws people off like crazy. I think arsenic is very neat. I think
Mm,
it's super interesting because
okay.
they used it to dye fabric in the 1860s. Well, 1850s is when it started. They knew it was poison, but they didn't realize that they only thought you had to eat it for it to be poison. So they're like, let's use it to make bright colors. And they were making like bright colors. Like these colors were so bright that the garments that have survived to now are still very brightly colored. Like these were incredibly advanced chemical dyes for the time period. But yeah, it turns out arsenic is not great
Oh,
on the skin,
who would have known?
and it was not great for no, and it was not great for the dressmakers who were hand sewing, ingesting it. Yep. Or the people who were making the flowers on the hats, like the green. Green was the most common color for arsenic. Um, as Canadians, I think many of us would know "If I Had $1 Million," right?
Mm-hmm.
That song. So there's two lines that are very interesting in that reference arsenic. So there's the "If I had $1 million, I'd get you a fur coat, but not a real fur coat that's cruel," which refers to like hunting animals and such. And then I'd buy you a green dress, but not a real green dress that's cruel. So anytime, like as a kid, you'd hear that and be like, "What does this mean?" It's referring to arsenic. And I one day, while looking up totally different stuff and doing my research at my job, I stumbled down an entire rabbit hole looking up old archives, newspapers, scientific journals on arsenic.
My God, I learned a lot from you. I hope you know that. I learned how to
Yeah.
make hats from you. I
Oh,
learned how
that
to
makes me
make
happy.
structured bodices from you, and now I learned how to use arsenic. If you see
Don't
me,
use it. Don't do that. Nope, nope, no.
mm, it's
But
historically
yeah,
accurate.
it's historically accurate. It falls over. Oh, that might be arsenic poisoning. So do not try this at home, kids.
Mm-mm.
But it is fascinating, and now we have modern chemical dyes that do the job as well, if not better, much safer.
Yes.
But yeah, I was not initially expecting to fall down a rabbit hole about arsenic while looking up how to make pretty silk dresses in the time period, like looking up dressmaking um, manuals because they existed. Like here's how you make dresses, and you could read them from the time period, and then that led to me learning about the dye process and learning about the arsenic dresses. Um, One of the most famous surviving arsenic dresses is actually in Toronto
Oh.
at the Metropolitan University. Is that what it's called?
Yes, yes. Toronto Metropolitan.
That one. Toronto Metropolitan. Yeah. So they actually, in their collection, they have one of them, a very, very famous author. Actually, let me just reach over to my library right here. Um,
There's gonna be a fat book she pulls out. Watch. What did I say? What did I say?
Fashion victims. This is about historical victims of like fashion related stuff. And this is a product of me going down a rabbit hole. And sure enough, where is the green dress? It's in here. I
We'll
know it
find
must
it.
be.
We'll find it.
Oh, but there is a green dress in Toronto, and this author is Toronto local. Come on, it's got to be in here. It's one of them.
Torontonian, stand up.
Exactly. So she is like local in Toronto. She is this fantastic author and historian talking about how these dyes to make these dresses were actually poisonous. And that is her field of research.
That seems like a dream job.
And she has a whole
A very niche dream
it's that
job.
she actually came to my work site apparently once, which was really cool. So her name is Allison Matthews David. So people who go to that school, she's there.
Mm-hmm.
It's really cool. But like right, and that goes back to like there was the book. That goes back to like things I never expected to learn. I never expected to be interested in, and how my job, how my field kind of all has gone into this kind of stuff, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. For the next
I just
question,
think it's
because we are almost 40 minutes in, and guess how many questions we got done?
like
Three.
three. Excellent. Perfect.
Not saying I don't love talking with you. I love learning from you. We just got to move on to the next question.
Perfect.
What does the typical cosplay work day look for you when you're deep into a project?
Okay, so for some additional context, this is easy to separate because my job is about 8 months of the year, and the other time of the year I'm off. So it's like it's a work day versus a cosplay work day. I can actually really separate them so easily.
Mm-hmm.
I often do get to like, start a slow morning, breakfast, tea, wind up, wind down. Um, I like to jump right into usually whatever I was trying to finish the day before or the last session I had where I got to sit down and make stuff. I try to get all like the busy work, the stuff where you're at the sewing machine, at the iron, at the sewing machine, at
Oh,
the iron,
I feel
we're over
that.
here, all the stuff where you're constantly moving. I like to get all of that done during like the main part of the day, if I can, so that I can kind of do some of the slower work at night. I try to get to points where I'm like, this is a good stopping point. So later on, like after dinner, I can sit down, hand sew, and watch something on the TV,
Mm-hmm.
kind of thing. Um, I like to try to plan my projects so that I can do this kind of stuff. So I always make sure I have like, my proper meals of the day. Sometimes I'll accidentally have them a bit late because I get too in the zone. But
I feel you
oftentimes
so
it's
hard.
very like, yeah, my workflow is very separated in the sense that like I'm doing busy work when I'm up here in my sewing room. I'm usually doing calmer work when I'm like downstairs in the living room in my spot,
Mm-hmm.
my little embroidery spot, as I like to call it. Where I can bring like something smaller work where I can sit and just sit for like an hour without having to get up and just work on that handwork essentially. Tatting I find is really good for that. I can just sit there for hours and do that. If I don't have the energy after work to work on like patterning or like piecing and stuff like that with my sewing machine, or if it's like it is too hot to like justify the iron,
Mm.
I'll sit downstairs and tat. It's a good fidget too also. So if I just need to sit down and just like mentally decompress, I can work on some of these things like tatting um, for a long time, and I'm still being like productive. I'm still working on my cosplays, and sometimes I'll just have that little arm right over me again with my camera going, so that I'm still working on all my stuff, even though I'm like in complete relax mode.
I feel you so much with the like having your little corner. I am a beating bitch to the end of my days. I have too many glass beads in my collection.
Excellent. Yeah.
And you're
I had
right.
to be careful with my last beading project. My Toon Zelda with all the beads on the hem.
Yes.
I had to end up doing that upstairs because my cats were like, "Oh, so the dress is somewhere I can sit while you're having it on your lap, right?" And I was like, "Ooh, no, 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 we're not doing that."
I have two babies at home, two twin babies that are on the floor all the time. So my old embroidery, old beading spot on the couch can no longer be my beading spot on the couch, and it needs to be in a room locked away. Cause if you were a baby and you saw just shiny, shiny stuff on the floor,
You're going for the shiny stuff.
yes,
You're going for the shinies.
100%. And you just spoke about how like even when you're tatting on your couch, you have your phone, not phone, you have your camera propped up for filming. So, um, do you play? Oh my gosh, sorry. When it comes to planning your builds and planning your content, do you plan far in advance? You're like, I know in the next 2 years I'm going to build this new Zelda cosplay, or are you like, oh, I saw this on TV today. Okay, I'm making it now.
I am the very much plan in advance. When there's a spontaneous project, it's usually because someone invited me in on something, or it's like something happened to make it happen, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so like a friend of mine actually gave me a really lovely chatelaine, which is a like a belt piece, a historical belt piece, as a wedding gift that she made, and it was based on Princess Zelda. And like I had been like, okay, I need to work on a medium-sized project. What do I want to do? And one of the ideas floating in my head was A Link to the Past made in Zelda, the blue dress. And then I wasn't sure which one would be the next like medium project in between the bigger projects, and that just solidified it. I was like, I am making it made in Zelda. I'm gonna have this to go with it. But even then, like the idea was already in my head. There was like three possible cosplays that would work as a medium project.
Mm-hmm.
It was just which one. My bigger projects are like years in advance usually. Like I start looking for fabrics sometimes 2 years ahead of time.
Hell yes. Hell yes.
I find that's a cheaper way of doing it because then you can take advantage of all the sales. If you buy everything at once, you're buying a lot of it at full price.
Mm-hmm.
If you are taking time and slowly accumulating pieces, you can take advantage of sales. You can take advantage of buying it in bulk because you know what you do need. Instead of just buying like the first thing you see that's somewhat close. You can be a little pickier. One of my next projects has real fur on it because my parents are work in the fur industry and they have some furs, like some recycled furs that have been given to them as display pieces. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna be looking for some furs. If you have any ideas for like this kind of look, it's supposed to look like this animal, but like could be anything else. I don't care what kind. I just would like it if I could to try to do so because I do real leather work sometimes.
Mm.
And my mom just took out this old shawl that someone had donated. And I was just like, I can use this? Like, yeah, we don't use this one for display purposes anymore. It's the right color, looks like the right texture. So if I had gone out and bought it, and when I bought a bunch of the other stuff for that project, I would have paid a lot of money only to find out it was in my parents' basement in safekeeping. Right? Like,
Mm.
I mean, not everyone's gonna find fur in their parents' basement, but
There's a
even
lot
just
of
like,
things that you can find around. Local
right? There's
buy
a
shop,
lot of
not buy shops, but like
surprises. Yes.
local Facebook groups, mom and pop
Mm-hmm.
shops that get
Thrift stores.
fabrics, thrift stores as well. Those,
That same project, I found it. Actually, it was it was dear Chunky Chickadee who found it. If you want to go thrifting and get good finds, you take her or a strange crow with you, and you will find the goodies.
okay.
Shopping with her, and she's like, "Oh, this purple reminds me of one of like the costumes you want to work on," and I was just like, "Oh my god, yeah, $7."
Mm.
If I had bought that online because I don't have fabric stores in my town, also, that would
Oh,
have cost me so much more money. And I needed more of that color. I was like, wait, so a new texture made a nice color. Oh my god, it was perfect. So like, taking my time helps me save a lot of money, and it helps my sanity a little bit. I am a slow crafter. A lot of people are like, oh my god, you're so fast. I'm like, once I'm doing it, yes, like I can sew a seam much faster than probably the average person because I do a lot of sewing seams. Like that's just my day job. I
mm-hmm.
do a lot of sewing. Um, and my hand sewing, some people are like, how do you do it that fast? I'm like, do it every day. That would do it. But I still consider myself a slow crafter because I take it slow. I won't be working on it every single day for 10 hours in a row. Maybe I'll be like, all right, we're working on it for 6 here. I'm going to spend the rest doing playing video games or doing a slower crafting like tatting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I work like that. Recently, I've actually been trying to do like deadline less. I say that 10 times. A deadline less big projects to just see where they're at and what I could like maybe enter them in later on. See where they are when they're enterable and
Mm-hmm.
see what I can enter them in kind of idea. No set timelines. Um Deadlines in mind, maybe like, oh, if it's done at if it's this like 80% done at this point, maybe I'll enter it in this I'll try it enter it in this thing or anything like that. But yeah, usually I'm planning a year or two in advance. Like I know what my next few big projects are. I can't share them yet because some of them are top secret projects with some friends.
Very fair. Very
Um,
fair.
but even like the one that I'm working on right now, which is also top secret. It's not top secret, some people know what it is, um but like I've been planning on making like I actually paused making this character before. I was like, I'm gonna make this one next, and then it was like, and we're gonna put a few medium projects because I almost burnt out once, and then now I'm back at a big project again. Feels good. Um, when will it be done? I don't know. I hope by the end of the year, but
You never know. You never know.
you never know. We'll see where I'm letting see where like the flow takes me, and it'll be a better project because of that. Like I'm excited for all the different steps of the project, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Slow crafting is such an important thing I find even in my personal cosplay journey. My first competition build, we're not going to talk about how much hot glue is on that shit. To be fair, I was 16, so like you got to give me some grace.
Oh yeah.
But now the last build that I did for Anime North, that took me like 3 days straight, and that was just on one single talisman on one like part of the costume. I feel like it gives me a deeper
Hmm.
connection with the cosplay as well. Cause like it's
It
my
makes you
baby.
appreciate it a lot more.
And I spend time nursing. Why am I talking like it's an actual animal? But I spent time feeding it. I spent time working on it, and it makes me fall in love with the hobby more and more. And it also prevents burnout. Oh, sometimes you'll still get burnout,
Absolutely.
but
Oh yeah. It's the mindful crafting.
Yes,
Slow
yes.
crafting is mindful crafting sometimes. And yeah, some people actually do better when they're doing fast all the time crafting. That works for some people's brains. My chronically fatigued brain loves the slow crafting.
Mm-hmm.
Loves the like locking in on some days and being like, "Yep, this is going to be a 10-hour long Saturday of crafting." And it just feels good. And other days I'm like, "I don't have it in me to do a 10-hour long crafting day. What else can I do that I enjoy right now on the cosplay?" Or sometimes if I'm having a really bad fatigue day, it's like, okay, what other hobby are we gonna participate in? We're gonna do some cross stitch, some video games. I've gotten way better at that and feeling like I don't have to always be working on cosplay, and that's been much healthier for me.
I find that like any progress made is progress, even if you literally
Exactly.
sewed one hand stitch is done.
Absolutely.
And even if you did not work on like physical progress on the cosplay, if you decided, you know what, today is the day I lie in bed with my Nintendo Switch, Tamagotchi life all day, that's progress you made on
Absolutely.
yourself. You know?
Exactly. Sometimes you need to do a work in progress on your body and your brain.
Yes.
And also like sometimes the other versions of progress are, you know what, I have taken a lot of photos. I'm like 30% into this build. Maybe work on part of the build book that if you're planning on entering into a competition,
Mm.
maybe work on seeing like if you are doing like the slow method of gathering materials, check out to see what sales are going on at the different retailers you use online. If there's a sale going on this one, it's a good time to buy stuff for that costume and purchase the wig if there's a sale. Like I like to do that. Like if I'm not actively working on the physical costume, I'm working on other elements that might go with it.
Yes. The online shopping, I'm on Fabric Warehouse, I'm on Mood Fabric, I'm on AliExpress sometimes because,
Absolutely.
you know, I need to find that specific piece. That specific wig won't
Mm-hmm.
work out unless I find it,
Absolutely. Yeah.
you know.
And now it's like, let's try to find Canadian retailers. Sometimes I just go on a little vendor trying to find different places within Canada because shipping is expensive.
Yes. I'm very grateful I live in the Toronto area
Oh,
cuz
you're lucky.
I'm sorry.
You're so
I'm sorry.
lucky.
But there's so many different fabric shops, textile shops that I'm like, you know what? I don't have any project in mind. Let me just walk into it and see. And I found,
Oh, I missed that.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But I found like the most perfect lace for a costume. I did not plan on using lace, but I'm like, I was here. Now I have like $3 lace in my hand, more than I'll ever need. Perfect.
Yep. Oh yeah. I have stuff because like I used to live near Cornwall, Ontario,
Mm-hmm.
and they have a lovely fabric store over there that also sells like machines and they do less like sewing lessons and stuff. And like one day they were having like a big sale on lace, and I found a lace that looks very similar to like it's a big wide lace that
Oh, I
looks
need
very
that.
similar to like a rupee from The Legend of Zelda. And I'm like, well, if I ever do make like Princess Zelda from Zelda 1, like the ball gown,
Mm-hmm.
because she has like a very stereotypical Princess Peach looking outfit. Like if I ever do make that one, this would be a good lace to put on it. Oh, I have it. I have meters and meters of this lace. When will I make that version of Zelda? I don't know.
But
But
just
it's
in
pretty.
case,
It's pretty. And when I'm ready to make it, I'll have it. And then I'll be like, at that point, maybe I'll be making, who knows, like bob and lace or something. I'm like, I don't need this anymore. I'll make my own.
I like how you put that in
That's
mind.
where
Like,
we'll be
I'm
at.
going to be making bobbin lace. Watch, you'll see a video
I
from
would love
Annie
to.
in 2 years. Here's how to make bobbin lace.
Maybe not 2 years. I feel like that will take me a lot longer to learn. But that is, I eventually want to at least try it to see if brain enjoys it. So far, though, I tend to enjoy a lot of those types of skills.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I probably would like this.
I don't want to put too many expectations on you, but I expect you to learn bobbin lace sometimes. Sometime.
Excellent. Don't worry, I expect I'll probably try to learn it myself too.
Mm-hmm. For our next question, when
Hmm.
convention season gets busy, you know, it was Otafest, then Anime North, then YetiCon right after. Like, we are deep into convention season
Oh
right
yeah,
now.
we're in it.
How do you prioritize what needs to get done versus what can wait till after this convention rot ends?
So the way I prioritize stuff is I look at like what needs to be done as like a list. So what do I need to get done for the upcoming con? And I'll make a list. Is it that I need to finish a cosplay this year? I don't have any cosplays I need to finish. I finished everything before con season started and before my work season started. That started in April.
Mm-hmm.
Great. timing, right? Like just right
Oh,
as everything gets
perfect.
busy. I had 3 cons in April too. It was great. But like I was like, I want all the cosplay projects that I'm planning to debut at a summer con to be done by the beginning of April. So I got those all done, and now it becomes things like right now I can actively work on my new cosplay without much other thought. I can work on the new cosplay that I don't expect to finish this like for the summer. Work on it, have fun, but like once we're like a week and a half away from YetiCon, I'll probably won't be able to even touch it without feeling guilty that I need to like fix the wigs for my other cosplays that I'm wearing to YetiCon. And I couldn't pick up like doing more tatting or any of that again without feeling bad until I got like all the hand laundry from OdaFest done.
Mm.
I was like, nope, nope, we can't move on. The ironing board is covered in laundry that I need to do by hand. All right, we're not going to be using the ironing board until I do that laundry. Because if I just keep moving the laundry around, then I'll feel bad for the laundry, I guess. Um, so I create lists like that. What needs to be done before I can, in good conscience, work on the other things? And sometimes the answer is just cleaning. It's like I cannot do this until I tidy up the sewing room. Once that's done, I can work on the new thing. So like, it is very much I prioritize during con season what needs to get done for the cons. Like once some of the other cons start approaching, I will be like, okay, I can't really work on the new cosplay right now because I need to work on some panels for the upcoming con. Or like I do vlogs after the con. Usually, like my like decompressed day after everything's unpacked and the laundry's either sorted into hand laundry, and I do that right away. Also, like I come home and the like laundry and cosplays are unpacked right away.
Mm-hmm.
The suitcase cannot just sit there; it will give me anxiety. Um, so I do like I look after sorting stuff, doing it, and then I take out my camera's SD card, put it in my laptop, and I can't start the next project until the vlog is done. And then when I finish a project, I can't move on to the next project until that one's vlog is done.
That,
I have such a weird way that my brain works with prioritizing what gets done when. It keeps some good variety though. I'm not always doing the exact same thing all the time. It's like, oh yes, we go to you work on some cosplay, you prep some cosplay, you go to the con, you reverse prep the cosplay, you wash it, and then you make the vlog, and then you keep working on cosplay. Like this is kind of the pattern. It keeps things more interesting. That's for sure.
I mean, if it works, it works.
It's what keeps me sane, and it keeps me from like feeling like I have a lot to do. Because then if I don't do the vlog and if I don't do the laundry, then I'm like, if I work on cosplay, I'll just feel bad. I'll be like, oh, got all these things I gotta do. So I like can't do it until I look after the things that need to be looked after. Because no one wants your sweaty cosplay sitting around for too long.
Nope, nope.
I know we all do it sometimes. Sometimes it does take me a while to get to the laundry. As long as it's sorted, though, I don't feel as bad.
But that con smell, like convention smell, I find sticks to costumes. They
Danky.
stick to the wig. That alcohol spray
Oh
after
yeah.
the con, the bottle is empty because I'm like, I can't be in my house or I can't be at the next con smelling like the previous con.
Yep. And then if I find, I don't know if this is like a thing for everyone, but when you're competing, you get stress sweat.
Oh, yep, yep, yep.
And that's worse. Like that is arguably worse, and it smells way worse. Um, every time I come, like that's one of the things I also do when I plan my cosplays. How it's not just how you go to the washroom. How will I wash this? That's part of the planning process. Toon Zelda parts come off because I don't want that bright pink, which is against white and a light pink. I
Yeah.
don't want those together, even if I'm hand washing them. Even though I pre-wash the fabrics, I don't trust that dark pink. It all comes off. It all snaps off.
Mm-hmm.
So they can be washed separately.
Same thing.
I plan how to wash all my cosplays the second I'm making them.
My last big competition build was a video game, like a very fighting game video game build, so it's larger than life. I made sure all those things
Absolutely.
can come apart. The sleeves are separate pieces.
Excellent.
The dress is a separate piece, so I could just throw it in the bathtub, spray it. If I don't have time for
Perfect.
the bathtub, throw it into the bucket, go outside.
Yep. Absolutely. That's the best thing you can do. Yep.
And the con sweat mixed
I
with
love
the
planning stuff that way too.
yeah, the con sweat
That's
mixed with
part of the whole like making the cosplay real thing too. Like,
mm-hmm.
how would you wash this? How would this character go to the washroom?
It is very important. The washroom thing is very, very important because some of those competition builds, you're like, oh, it looks so pretty. Wait, it's 3 hours into the con, and
Wait, I need to go to the washroom before I go on stage. How am I going to do that? The
um,
the pre-convent like I don't know if this is like TMI, but like that pre going on stage pee hits
oh
good.
yes, I don't care if it's
Right? That
TMI. Everyone feels it.
before everyone does it, yeah. And it's like, oh, relief.
If you see those lines before the masquerade to the bathroom, it's like call time is 4 o'clock. At 3:50, everyone and their mom is in line. Let's not pretend we're not.
Yeah. We're gonna do that. We're all feel a lot less stressed afterward. Yeah. It's
And
so real.
I find that the green rooms on top of Sweat are usually evil. Like the Anime North green room. I love you, Anime North. That's scary. You were there at the CSC green room, the murder basement.
Oh yeah.
like
Oh. Yeah, murder basement. We love the murder basement.
like these cons are so amazing. I love how you guys treat cosplayers, but the green rooms do not make it easy to clean sometimes.
No. It's very true. They do their best at giving us a good space though.
Oh
And
yes.
that I do appreciate. But yeah, it's just like, ah yes. Dingy kitchen.
Yeah.
I love it.
If you want
Don't touch
floor time,
anything.
it's not happening here because there is like thousands of
Yeah,
spills on
yeah.
the floor.
No floor time. No. No floor time.
For
I do love floor
my
time before.
next question, which because we were just talking about competing at a con,
Mhm.
how do you manage your time between competing at the competition, socializing with friends that you may not see for a long time, and creating content because you do vlog your convention experiences a lot of the time?
Yeah. So the
Oh,
way I mostly balance is that
add judging
first
into
of all, my
this
base.
mix too. Sorry, I forgot to say also if
Oh,
you're judging.
absolutely. Yeah. So something I always tell people when I'm vlogging or like when they want to learn like start vlogging, if you have your camera on like a little like hand tripod, have it so it's always accessible. I never go into a con with a plan on how I'm going to make this convention's vlog happen. What is the lore going to be? I go in, let the convention happen, and then I edit it because the things are going to happen, and I like having my camera accessible so that when interesting things happen, I'm just ready to go.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I balance things a lot. Like I like to get little like B-roll type things, like waving, my friends waving at the camera, or just saying hi, or getting a shot of their cosplay and stuff like that. I love getting that kind of stuff, and it's interesting because like you'll see a little clip of like me with someone. But what you don't see that I don't film is me talking to that person for half an hour and
Mm-hmm.
connecting and like catching up on what they've been up to or buying something at a booth or something like that. Maybe I filmed that booth for 5 seconds and then I went to the booth across and bought something over there. And I don't film every single thing because some things are just, you gotta live in the moment too.
Mm.
I like to catch as much as I can within reason and with consent. There are so many clips of me being like the video's down so you can hear me asking for consent as well. I go, do you have consent if I film? And it's like, yes, okay. And if no, we don't even bring it up, right? It's just the like, it's just ready to go all the time. Um, I sometimes feel like I'm not filming enough for sure. And
She
sometimes I'm
says
like,
with
oh, I need to get more footage to.
a 30
It's
minute
it's so
vlog.
real. You're like, oh no, did I? Yeah, did I get enough B-roll? Did I get enough initial footage? Sometimes I'm almost like, oh, I gotta do a check-in. Oh no, did I check in too much? And then your check-ins are overlap on what you're saying, and you're like, oh dear goodness. Um, it's so real. You can definitely tell in some of my older vlogs where there's like some struggle with that. I'm a little better at it now, mostly. Um, well, there's also like playing around with what goes in the vlog, what doesn't, what do you live in the moment, and what goes on camera. That is a very learned experience and is very personal to each individual vlogger. I like YetiCon at usually after a certain time, my camera's not yet with me anymore.
Mm-hmm.
For example, YetiCon actually would be a great example for this. So, as a lot of people do know, I got engaged at YetiCon in
Yes!
2024.
Yay! That was
Yeah.
so cute. That was so cute.
Yeah, it was good. He did it really well. I think you
Mm-hmm.
can hear me saying it right now too. But yeah, it was really, really awesome. And like the whole thing got on camera. Most of it was cut out. What you see in that vlog is like the moment. You don't get a lot, like the whole after is still on, like Corey was still filming. Meg's partner filmed all the after stuff. But I was like, no, I'm not going to include all of this because this is my footage. This is for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm happy that I have it though. I'm so glad I have this footage. Another thing that is never in my YetiCon vlogs, but every single year at YetiCon, my husband's side of the family lives near Blue Mountain. They're like 45 minutes away. What a place to live near, right? So when we make the trip up there, because we live about like a 4 to 5 hour drive away, and it's always on Father's Day weekend.
Mm.
So at YetiCon every year, we're having lunch with them on the Saturday or the Sunday. I don't include that in the vlog.
Of course not.
That's us, right? Like we allude sometimes to that we had lunch with his parents, but like I'll never vlog that. And it's not that like I don't think my in-laws would really I don't know how they would feel about being on YouTube. It's the thing where I'd have to ask them, but that's not for YouTube. That's for us to enjoy the time and be in the moment. And like the little like after parties at when the day's done, you're out of cosplay. I'll get some footage, maybe allude again that we were like, here's us at the hotel party. But like once drinks start getting in anyone's system, cameras are
No.
off.
Nope. No one wants to see that.
Cameras aren't going. Exactly. We're just like, they don't want this on camera. I don't want this on camera. Most of the time, we're just having fun. Sometimes I'll get like some footage at the pool if people are chill with it, but a lot of times, even then, it's like, oh, pool time is me time.
Mm-hmm.
Keep my expensive camera away from the water.
That as well.
So YetiCon is a really good example of where I really play around. I get tons of footage throughout the day of tons of fun stuff, but the amount of stuff that doesn't go on camera is actually probably way more because those experiences are for me.
I think that's a really good way to like think of planning your content. There's some stuff that's for I feel like a lot of people, cosplayers, content creators in general, need to know where to draw the line between this is convention footage and this is my footage. This is,
Yeah,
vlogging
for
time.
me, am I showing right now AnnieChieDesigns or am I showing Annie Duroche Morrison?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Which one am I showing? But my name is completely, my real name is on public social, like it's everywhere. I don't mind.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, who is being shown right now? Because it's the same person. But
It's a
again,
persona.
you don't need me slurring my words when I have a little drink.
Yeah. I'm not sure if that
Right?
really fits in the
That doesn't need
crafting
to be on
Zelda
there.
vlog.
I don't, yeah. Exactly. I try to focus on the things that are convention related and I'll put in some fun stuff. Like my Otafest vlog, there was a little after room, like us chilling in the hotel room, just clips with no audio of friends sitting in the hotel room laughing. You don't know what they're laughing about. We don't know what the jokes were that they're laughing that hard about. You can tell what we're watching. We're watching Sonic Abridged
Oh,
for
T.
some reason.
T.
But you can tell what we're watching and that we're sitting there around like an iPad watching a Sonic Abridged episode, laughing at it. But you can't tell what we're laughing at. Like you can't tell all the stuff. And again, all of the actual footage, fine. But it's just this little like, and to end the con, we spent the time hanging out with friends, the perfect ending. Like that was all it needed to be to say this was part of my experience.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of stuff I like to do sometimes. It's fun to include some of that. But yeah, some things it's like, no, this is my memory. And if I have it on camera, it's for me.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
It can be really hard to learn to do that because at first you're like excited, you want to put everything in the vlog, you want to cover everything. But yeah, it's important to know where you draw like the line and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it can be hard to learn that. I think from the very beginning of my YouTube stuff, though, I've been pretty good about it. But that's also because I'm also like, yeah, I don't need all of this out there. I had figured out my line very early.
That makes a lot of sense. Annie, we have been at an hour. I'm not cutting you off now. I'm just giving you a time check. Girl, I think we've only
Yeah,
reached
no,
halfway
you're
through
good.
the questions.
Heck yeah.
We can't put two yapaholics
Yeah,
together. We cannot put two.
no, no, we will just keep going.
I hope you know that crafting hour at YetiCon is going to turn into like 11 o'clock. I'm mentally preparing myself for that. I have enough beats to survive that.
Oh, I feel like it's gonna become show and tell. I hope it becomes show and tell. That'd be really fun.
So who in the circle has sewing today? Who in the circle has coloring today?
Exactly. Who brought their sketchbooks? Who brought their? Whoa! Somebody brought this. Holy crap! Come show us this. I know if people are bringing knitting. Like I'm like, oh, this is great. This is the perfect like thing for YetiCon. I feel like I'm really excited about it.
I'm about to. I can't wait to see which assholes bring like the big build, and I'm like, yes, you traveled with your big build to craft with other people. I love you for that. My suitcase is too small for that, and I'm stealing your suitcase.
It's like respect.
Yeah. We're about to see.
We did say we made a joke when I was like pitching the idea to the YetiCon organizers. Like no bandsaws. This is quiet time. Paint, yes. Bandsaw, no.
Now I'm sorry. I might have to bring my Dremel, my handsaw. You know those cosplays need to get done. Yeah.
It's because the contest is what, like a few hours later or earlier. It's like I need it for the contest. Oh boy, you're crunching that bad. You're doing bad. That'd be really funny, actually.
I am now preparing to see like a big competition build being ready, and there's like I have to sew this one button on. I'm here to sew the one button, babe.
Excellent. Oh, I respect it. Even though I get my stuff done super ahead of time, I do respect the crunching brethren.
There's someone in chat who says they feel like they're missing out on YetiCon. You are! Tickets are still available!
It's so good. 10 out of 10. Ever since year one, it's been incredible.
It's gonna be my first YetiCon. I'm quite...
Oh, you're in for such a treat. It's so good. I've been going since the first one 10 years ago. It's amazing. It's incredible. Vibes. It's such vibes.
Being in the Toronto area, I feel like I'm one train or like 1 20-minute drive from like pretty much a lot of the conventions. So to be able to, not to say like I will be going to more Ottawa and Quebec con soon, but this is my first time fully branching out of like the GTA area to go to a con, and I'm just so excited for that.
It's exciting to like especially when you're usually in one zone, to like go out of it a little bit. Like, oh man, like I'm usually in like the like Montreal, Ottawa, Cornwall, Toronto. Like that's my triangle right there. I do not venture out of it a lot. But then like the first time I went to a Quebec City con, I was like, okay, like a little like 2 hour drive farther from Montreal. And then I got to go to Oda Fest. And I'm like, oh, okay, now we're really going west. The first time I went to a con in Fredericton in 2019, I was invited out there as a guest, and I was like, I was like fresh out of like college and my internship and everything. And I'm like, you want me? It was really, really cool, but it was just like, holy heck, this is my first con outside of Ontario and Quebec. Let alone like out of the province. It's like first one outside. It was really cool. Also great con. Anna Maritime, fantastic.
Canada is so large. Like, I think we forget that we're the second biggest country in the world. So
yeah, it's physically huge. And the communities are all so different from each other, is what I've learned, because like we're all so secluded from each other.
Yeah.
Cosplay A is so important, and this is not just because I've judged it before, but like a similar idea to do a similar competition, but I just didn't have the energy nor time to do it. So when they announced that they were doing it, first of all, people were like, oh my god, Annie, you've done it. I'm like, no, it's not me, guys. It's not me. I don't have to look after it. This is great. But I was just like, it was a breath of fresh air, because Canada needs something like this so bad.
Yes.
To get all the different regions together in one grand finale. Because right now it's either you have your local regional competitions, or you're doing like WCS and NCC and going straight to an international prelim.
Yep.
This is something in between, because not everyone's like, I want to do a bigger competition, but I don't want to have to go to a different country if like,
yeah,
right? It's too big. I don't want to do that. Cosplay A might feel a bit better. It's that next level up. Different people work differently, and some people are now like, oh, okay, this could be my like stepping stone for learning to go to the bigger prelims, because it's still a prelim. is still high-end competition. Like people who are entering NCC and WCS are entering at Cosplay A. These are high-quality entries, but they feel more accessible.
Mm-hmm.
And that's huge. Because a lot of people feel like, even though I will admit, NCC and WCS, they are the organizers. Mwah,
Love them.
mwah, we love you. We love
Mwah.
you.
You know who you are.
Fantastic. You know who you are. Fantastic people who they want people to feel welcome in these spaces. But a lot of people, it's just like the natural, this is an international prelim, I'm intimidated. That factor's there. There's more of them per year. It's not just one prelim, there's multiple, and then you have everyone going to all the different finalists going to the final. For these, it's very like, it feels more doable for people. There's not as much paperwork to do.
Yup.
Like, yep. There's a lot less of that, but if you want to enter things like WCS and NCC, it is a fantastic stepping stone as well. It's an amazing competition on its own, but like it's the perfect in between of it all, which is exactly what Canada needs. They need something to bring all the communities together, to celebrate cosplay, to learn from each other, and for some friendly competition.
Mm-hmm.
Frankly, this has been it's long overdue. Very proud of the people who are running it. They're learning, they're doing their best, and they're doing something that the communities need. Because, like, yeah, I'm lucky, I'm very privileged, I've gotten to experience some of the different communities in Ontario, in Quebec, in Fredericton, and now in Calgary, and I'm like, wow, like, these are very different communities. It'll be really special when you bring them all together.
I also find that
And I think it's incredible.
I was gonna say I also find that cosplay A is very accessible because we have we probably do have more, but the three main international qualifiers we have in Canada are NCC, Masters of Cosplay, and World Cosplay Summit. NCC and Masters of Cosplay are in Toronto. Toronto is not cheap to get to, and it's not cheap to stay in.
No, it's not.
And then
really not. And Montreal,
oh no,
thing mostly.
I'm looking at Montreal those hotels, and I'm like, what if I just sleep on the con floor? You know, that might be better.
Yep. They're very expensive cities. And like I'm not gonna say that Ottawa is like the cheapest, but for the people who live in Ottawa.
Yes.
For the people who live near Ottawa. Like
it's better.
We have two prelims there. It's lovely. And like for people in Quebec, there's two different prelims. And I also think it's really lovely to incorporate into these conventions because they're longer skits without giving every single contestant, because that's why they shortened a lot of skit times on masquerades. They used to be a lot longer. That's because the shows were on too long because not everyone realized that. Some people thought they had to be on stage for 2 minutes, so it would start to drag out because all they're doing is doing a walk-on for 2 minutes, and that's too long. So they shortened everything down. So now you have your cosplay A finalists with up to 2.5 minutes, I believe it is, and it makes the show really interesting because you'll have shorter entries, something longer, and usually with some props, and like it's a little bit more involved. And the quality like shoots up. Like yes, you have people who are cosplay A and like international quality in the regular masquerade sometimes too. But these entries are longer, right? And they're designed like they're competing where it's 50 for workmanship and 50 for stage. So like they're giving their all to put on a performance. So it adds a lot of variety and quality as well to the like from the showrunner's perspective and for the audience perspective, and the wow factor increases, and it really brings in like a lot of people. And then the masquerade contestants and the cosplay A contestants all get to hang out as well. They're all in the same green room, so you have all these people like together as well, and it just makes the community back there really special. Like because I've gotten to like staff behind the scenes of a few, and that's actually sometimes I don't vlog. Anime Ottawa did not vlog this year because I'm like, I have been staffing all day and I was helping with the judges. So when you're doing judging, you can't really film. There's not much you can film. So I was just like, I don't have time to film anything today. I don't have time because during the show itself, I can't even film because I was up next to the judges doing math. I was like the one, this person scored that. So I couldn't film either because my job was to do something else. So I was like, we're not filming at this one. But I was backstage for this thing where they have the masquerade and cosplay A together, and it's really beautiful. As cheesy as that sounds,
No,
it's really special. I'm very excited to see it all accumulate at the finale this year. That show's gonna be amazing. I'm
I
so
can't
excited to see
wait.
it.
I cannot wait. I've been following cosplay A for a while, and I'm like, this is gonna eat down so hard. One day I
Hmm.
will
I think
participate.
this is gonna become people's big goal. I
Mm-hmm.
think everyone's gonna be like, I want to make it to cosplay A. I want to be the Canadian champion of cosplay. I think
Yes,
like this year people are like kind of like seeing how it goes, and they're still amazing. Like the quality is insanely good. So I'm like, oh my god, when people are like, okay, my goal is to enter cosplay A, like they're building the cosplay with it in mind, dude,
it's gonna be insane.
it's gonna get better and better every year. And it's already looking pretty good. Like I'm so excited about this. I went completely derailed off
No,
what we were
no,
talking about.
that was a good. I
I
was.
thought that was
It's a good response, and I'm gonna add more to it because, of course, I am.
oh
Um,
yeah.
I believe it was me and Dark Arnival Butler who were talking about this, but like the we are attached to America, and we see the American cosplay scene as like, oh my gosh, like that's Yaya Han, you know, that's I can't think of
Yeah.
other American cosplayers right now. I know there's a lot of them. I can't think of them in my brain right now, but there's a lot of them, and we're pushed so much American talent, but we forget that Canada is filled with so many talented people, and we just need more opportunity to showcase our skills.
Yep.
Cause like I said before, Canada is wild. The scene in BC is insane. The scene in Manitoba is insane. The scene Calgary,
And they're very different scenes.
yes, yes. But we have such an amazing talent in Canada, and the more and more opportunities we get to share, because who knows, maybe in the next year we're gonna see, oh, here's another big competition announced. Here's another convention starting up, and then that's gonna birth 20 new competitive cosplayers that are gonna eventually go on to represent us somewhere.
Exactly. And we might even hopefully one day we'll get more prelims because there are a lot of competitions. It's just about having a convention willing to host them and having the funds to host it and
Mm-hmm.
send the people off. That's the big thing. And I think we're starting to see that a lot of conventions are seeing the value in these competitions
Yep.
and just letting the cosplayer, because like that it's a competition, is that these people are trying their best to win the competition. So they're bringing these big costumes, these beautiful pieces, and they're putting on a show.
Mm-hmm.
So you have this programming that is fan made for the fans. And because again they're trying to place, they're putting their heart and soul and sweat. Honestly, you don't even need a competition sometimes for that to happen. But because it's a competition, like it just ups the ante. And then you end up with this wonderful show. Like the fact that so many people tune into cosplay competitions, right? Like the NCC had a live stream, like the final, yes, in Sweden, but also
Canadian one, right?
the one in here in Canada. But like I watched the final from NCC last summer. Like a bunch of us, we had like a live stream party. Very fun to do that, by the way. And to think that all of these people, like the people physically there, plus the people watching at home, when you watch these competitions, it's like it brings people up. They want to be wowed, they want to be entertained, and like people love it.
Yeah.
It's fun. It's fun to see what people can do and how people can make art a multimedia piece of art, which is how I see cosplay performances and skits and cosplay in general.
That's what they are, though. Not only are you either sewing or foam smithing, but you're an audio engineer, you're a set builder, you're a script writer half the time, you know?
Exactly. When we were going over to Japan, we realized that we had weird luggage, like Meg Wynn and I, because we had some weird luggage. We had like fake guns with us.
Yeah.
The characters have guns, right? So the bag that had the foam and like pipe in it, because that's what they were, and they weren't actually like they're nothing metal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we had a piece of paper that was like miniature theater props. And when we had to go over and they were asking us, what are you going over? Like, because, they ask the questions sometimes
Yep.
when you go over. If you just go, I'm going for the World Cosplay Summit, they're going to be like, what? We said we're going to a cosplay event, a miniature theater cosplay event. And then they get it.
Mm-hmm.
Because, and you don't have to explain the whole thing. You're just like, oh, it's miniature theater. 2.5 minutes on stage. You are the actor, you are the costume designer, you are the set designer, the back screen designer. Whether or not you're the one who makes like the sets and the back video, or if you had help, you're the audio mixer. Sometimes you're the voice actor. You do all of the stuff that you normally see in like a 2 hour long theater production. So it's honestly, I kind of joke that like cosplay and cosplay performances are like the big where if you have someone who just has always wanted to control all the different things in theater but you can't because there's too many and it's a big undertaking, cosplay performances and competitions are a great place
Yep.
because you can kind of do it all
I
and
love
it's fun.
I love it. I have not done a masquerade in years, but I've planned too many masquerades in my head. And if you see my, I will join them soon. I promise. I'm scared of falling on
Excellent.
stage. Um, that's my
Everyone is.
irrational fear.
It's rational.
But I have planned so many skits in my head. I have literally Google Docs filled with scripts for my very
Yes.
secret Anime North 2027 build. The script has already been
That's
written.
excellent.
I know I'm a
I
year off,
love it.
but still.
I've had skits in my brain for years. The one I did at NCC, that was in my head, and I'm like, I gotta do it.
With the.
Got it had to be NCC. That's the only place that format would have worked. Like the only
Mm-hmm.
format competition I could have done that skit at, and it was so much fun.
It was. There was a huge erect
I
penis on
didn't have to
stage.
place, and I had a great time, and I accomplished putting on like what I wanted to do. The thing in here got out on there, and people liked it, so it made me really happy.
People loved it. I loved it. Even
Thank you.
as a non Zelda player, I was like, I get this. That's a very important parts of skits. If you've never done a cosplay skit before, you want to make sure not only people who are fans of the cosplay know it is, but you want to
Absolutely.
make sure people who are like, who the hell is on stage, also know.
Absolutely. They gotta know who it is from just a few little things.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you can kind of play with like tropes and stuff like that, where it's like,
Yes.
is this character the this in this show? Play that up. Oh, this is the edgy McEdge man? Play it up.
Turned it to 1,000. Oh, your character is a super cute, like magical girl. I better hear a high pitched shriek somewhere in that.
Exactly. Exactly. That's why when I did Modica, there was a lot of
Yes,
like little noises. That was very fun, by the way.
it worked very well.
Dying noises, a lot more difficult. But all those magical girl noises, the little noises and stuff, very fun.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to move on to the next question because we were on that one question for a minute,
A while.
a little while. Um, a lot of content creators, cosplay creators, feel the pressure to be always be posting because you post your builds online and there's a schedule to be had. How do you stop yourself from being like, I need to have a new build, I need to have a new cosplay, I need to have a new video?
I realized that I couldn't do that when I burnt out once, and that was like I was trying to like do daily uploads on TikTok back in like 2020, 2021. I did an experiment, and this was for a video actually. Because even like with my video content, sometimes there's a plan, sometimes it's just, well, this year it's going to be vlogs and whatever projects I get done. Other times I'm like, I would like to get a good talking video in, like discussing something important. I
Mm-hmm.
try to get one of those done per year. I have done one so far this year, and I did one I was pretty proud of the year before that. Um, but when I was doing a lot more uploads regularly, I did an experiment where I tried to post every single day, and I experimented with, is my face in the content, is just my hands in the content, played around with stuff to see what stuck. And I cannot remember all the stats 100%, but I did do a video like compiling my findings. What videos perform the best? Did it perform better on Instagram or TikTok? And did I get growth? Did my Instagram and TikTok following grow? And while the answer was yes, it did, I kind of went, is it worth me doing this, making all this content always constantly when it was eating into the time I could have been working on the crafting,
Mm-hmm.
like the thing that I really love? And I realized I'm like, I don't have it in me to always be working on just the content because I love working on it. but I like this stuff more. I like sewing more. And then that's also making content as well. So it's this like this little like a little I guess rabbit hole's a good way of putting it. Where I get caught in this I gotta be making content, I gotta be making content. And then next thing you know, I'm not making costumes or making any progress on it. There's a reason my Snow White cosplay took a year and a half to make. When I do the actual like hours, it took the same amount of time as my Sakizo, but I did the Sakizo in far less months. But that's because I wasn't like spending my weekends making content instead. I focused, I was like, I was doing content because I felt like I had to, and I had to keep up with everyone. And I had to put on cosplay this weekend and do some lip sync videos. I wasn't doing it anymore because, like, during the pandemic, I was doing that because I enjoyed it. It was so much fun. I had an amazing community. I'm still in the community, Hyrule Hideout, the Legend of Zelda community on TikTok. Fantastic people. Um, Shout out to Yaban Cosplay. Love them. They're like the heart. They're so good. But I realized I wasn't enjoying that part as much and I wasn't making as many cosplays and I needed to get back to like my root of crafting. And while making that Instagram video, the video where I talk about Instagram growth and reels and stuff like that, I realized that this growth I was going for, who is it benefiting? Because I was getting new followers, but they were like hollow followers. They were just following from that one video. They weren't
Yeah.
following for me, they were following for that one video. I feel like an imposter a lot on my YouTube because I'm very privileged and I'm very proud, but like I have 25,000 subscribers on YouTube, which is a wild number. But when you look at my views, it doesn't make sense because they're so low. Well, they've recently been low. I have not been uploading as much as I used to. I do have some videos that have a lot of views. But then when you look at my shorts, you see that some have done super, super well.
Mm-hmm.
And the following came from like hollow following from that one short doing super well.
Mm.
These people are not actually interested in watching my regular content. They're more interested. That was what I found with the new Instagram followers. Most of the growth I got from the reels were not people who were going to stick around. I have had very organic growth in my social media of people who are more actually interested in me and what I do, and a lot less follows just who want to follow the idea or follow after one cool video expecting that's what you do all the time, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what the Instagram experiment kind of showed me. And it helped me refocus on how I want to make my content, what I want to make my content. And I realized that, like, yes, I have a monetized YouTube channel. It is not my goal to be a full-time YouTuber. I do get a nice amount. It helps fund my cosplay hobby though, which is pretty cool. If I was aiming to be a full-time YouTuber, I would be aiming and focusing on that aspect in a very different way. But I am currently focusing on it in a way that's healthier for me. And I have a really wonderful, dedicated audience. Like when I say that most of my views recently have been quite low, it's still like more people than what went to my high school when I was younger.
Yeah, it's still
They're just
it's
like,
an
yeah,
amount. It's
if we
decent
filled
amount.
that gym with every kid in the high school, there's still more people watching my YouTube videos than that.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like that's a lot of people who are still coming back for every video. Even if it's not in the millions like a major YouTuber. And I realized that like my comments have gotten better. I'm getting more in depth or more interested or more questions or more conversation. They're less hollow, they're more interested in what I have to say and do and discussing it with me and like actually taking in the content and not just not taking it. You know, if that makes
No, no,
sense.
it makes a lot of sense.
It was a journey. And I'm realizing like I'm much happier now. I'm actually at this point in my life probably the happiest I've ever been.
Oh, that's
I'm at a point where like crafting is just makes me happy. I'm not stressed about it. Competitions, I'm just happy with how I'm like. It's not that I'm happy with how I'm doing in them. It's that I'm happy how I've done them. I'm happy with the experiences I've been having. Um, I love my job. I go into work feeling inspired every morning. I walk into work and I'm like, I'm back. Like, I'm very, very lucky to also have that. I'm inspired at work. Sometimes if I don't have the energy to do anything creative, like on my own hobbies, for like a whole week, I don't feel like I've missed out because I've been creative at work. So that was a very long-winded way of getting to that, I guess.
No, it's makes a lot of sense. I am going through something similar right now because when I first started posting content, it was like lip sync content, lip sync content, lip sync content, and people be like,
Yeah.
"It's a cool
And then
build."
you get some success and you want to keep up with it.
Mm-hmm.
And you've gotten some really good views, really good comments from. Honestly, you've been killing it.
I
I'm very proud of you.
appreciate that, but I find that a lot of these comments are like, I have to delete a lot of comments because people will follow me for one specific cosplay build, and it's like, oh,
Oh,
here's another cosplay build that's more like technically intricate, and they're like, who the fuck cares? But I found out the
oh,
second I start posting at like, you were at CSC with me. You see, I film a lot of cosplayers. I do a lot of interviews with
yep,
cosplayers. I've noticed that my views and my interactions from that have gotten so much better because I'm interacting with that community. And now that I've built
yep,
that community that's like, oh, I love cosplayers. Oh my gosh, how did this cosplayer make this? Oh my gosh, I've
yeah,
never seen a XYZ cosplay before. I find that to be so much better compared to the TikTok where it's like, oh, I made a pretty wig. Here's 20
yeah.
seconds in the pretty
I
wig.
absolutely agree. And it's the sometimes when you do get success, it's a double-sided knife, double-sided sword.
Yeah.
It's the whole like, oh my God, it feels incredible to get some success, some attention, some love. It's good when the numbers do numbers. It feels good.
Yes.
But no matter what, you get that video that like one of mine on that one reel got like I think 3 million views, which was crazy.
Insane.
Like, but then I've never reached anything near that ever again.
Mm.
I might not ever reach anything like that ever again. So even though like the next few things I did good numbers, because they weren't those good numbers, it didn't feel good. And I got into this little rut with it, and it didn't feel good. So I find for me it works better to make content that I make the content I would want to watch too. Like
Yes. That's
if I
also very
this,
important.
right? So I'm making the stuff that I enjoy making, both as content and as like the physical things I'm making that goes into the content. Like the costumes I'm making, I make videos about, or I make reels about, or etc. Um, and I'm in a much healthier and happier place because of it.
Mm-hmm. That's really nice. I'm stealing all your
Yeah,
advice. I will be taking this all to heart.
it makes me happy to hear that.
Okay, for our next question, we're going back to craftsmanship. Um,
Absolutely.
oh my gosh, wait. Okay. What does your craftsmanship process look like from concept to finished cosplay?
Where is it? I gotta find a prop for this.
Oh lord.
Oh, it's literally under here, isn't it? Yeah, it's literally under my laptop right now. 1 second.
It's okay.
It's
Camera
my
shifting.
laptop is sitting on books right now.
It's
Who's
okay. I get to
shocked?
see these Blythe dolls. I'm enjoying it. What is on
Oh
your
yes,
wall? That like print of a pretty on the You don't have
hmm?
to show me now, but there's something on the side of your wall. No, the like the door thing, other way. Oh my
There
gosh! Is
or
that
there?
Sakura?
Yeah, there's a Sakura perler bead on my door.
Oh my
That's my closet
goodness. That is so cute.
door. So my process. I always start
Another big
with the
ass book.
sketchbook, a big sketchbook. Um, so I'll show one of my favorites in this. My process starts off as planning notes for what I'm going to make, like what the costume looks like. So this is my Sakizo. It's
Mm-hmm.
the me drawing it so that I'm taking in the design. It's not that I need to like necessarily, it's just so I can piece out the pieces.
Mm-hmm.
And then I make sketches of each of those pieces with notes on how I want to make everything. From there, I can use these almost as flats because it's where I plan hooks or darts or seam lines and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can pattern draft it. From that, oftentimes, I end up with a ton of math.
Oh no. I'm
So
not a
this is
math
all
girly.
petticoats and skirts. This is all petticoats and skirts,
Ah,
right? Yep. So the book becomes this not just my resource, and I can look at my work. There's all my notes for what needs to be fixed on the costume. I have a sample for how I did the scalloped edges and what the pattern piece I presume will look like so I can plan it, and it makes making the patterns easier. And then I'll make the patterns and I'll start to get into the mock-ups. I enjoy fitting a lot, and then I'll take out my trusty fitting notebook, my fitting book. I have a really good, like, it's basically a textbook
Mm-hmm.
for how to solve different fitting problems. And some pieces, because every piece gets its own mock-ups, can take up to 3 to 5
Yep.
mock-ups until I'm happy with the pattern. Transfer all of those things onto a paper pattern. And half of this stuff doesn't even make it into my videos because it's hard to show this process on a video because my body is in it and it's like half clothed sometimes, and sometimes the fabric's see through, so I can't actually show my fitting processes, which sucks. I love the fitting process. Or it's just awkward because I'm like, I'm pinning myself in over here and I'm having to like squish things out of the way, and I can't show that in the video. So the video always starts with me like usually like, here's the pattern, or here's me working on the pattern without the fitting. And then I'm like, anyway, let's cut out the fabric. I always start with under to outer, usually. So
Mm.
if there are underlayers like a corset, petticoats, all of that, I usually do all of them first to make sure that the other pieces fit on top.
Yep.
That is the best way to start. And I tend to like details I work on in between. Like things like tatting. I'm working on this right now, and like some of the other pieces of the costume, they're nowhere near ready for details. Nowhere near. But the details take so long to make that I can work on it here and there. I can work on it on the train. Like,
Mm-hmm.
so the planning process almost takes as long though. Like this stuff takes almost as long, as almost as fun as the actual costume making process. And then I get to the fun part where I'm like, I'm doing the sewing, and then hello train, and then I'm doing all the different things, and sometimes I'm like, oh, this part of the costume, this is a I'll do this during the evenings after work kind of tasks. I can do it in small increments, like painting. I can paint it this night, or I can prime it this night. I can paint it there. I can do the highlights and stuff the next night because of the way timing works. And I kind of just do that until it's complete. And while I'm doing that, my trusty arm and my tripods are around. My lights are around. They are traveling with me around the room, around to my downstairs area where I do like all my handwork and my patterns. And then at the very end, when I finish the project, usually I try to get either footage of me, whether it's at home in the costume or first time out at a con. And then I get to have the fun of putting together the video,
Mm.
and sometimes even a build book because if I'm doing a competition. So that's the order I often do things in. The middle part where I'm making the costume differs highly depending on the costume, but under layers often first is the big takeaway.
I think the underlayers thing is quite important because do not tell the judges this. They cannot take away my award now. Um, but I built the whole.
No, they can't.
They cannot, unless they actually can. I did not read the terms and conditions fully, which you probably should. But
You mean after Bite told you to read the rules, you didn't read the rules?
I'm
I'm kidding with
sorry,
you.
Bite. I'm sorry. I will next competition, probably.
Proud of you.
Um, Speaking of not reading the rules, Anime North required that you had a build book for the craftsmanship only competition. I found that out the night before I was supposed to go to the place I was staying at. So my build book is
Oh
2 sheets.
no.
It is.
You know what though? They don't need to be fancy.
They
They
don't.
don't need to be a lot.
But it was just a photo of the character and a photo of the one part that you can't see under the costume. Like, that's enough. You can see it on me, hopefully. I pray to God you never judge me. Because I feel like
I have judged so many people who don't have build books, and it's all about how you present it. The build book is simply a tool for doing so. They
But
do help though.
I made the cosplay and I was like, wait, I am, not to be vulgar, but I have boobs. Where are these supposed to go?
Where the girls sit.
So I did have a old bra that was pinned to the costume. The judges didn't see it because I had enough layers on top, but there was a decent amount of safety pins on the inside because I forgot to work inside for mouths. So next time I will.
But see, the judges didn't notice.
Mm, made it well enough.
Exactly, exactly. And also, it's the golden rule of judging and being judged is focus on the good. It's like a job interview. You're
Yes.
trying to tell them why your costume is amazing. You don't focus on like the mistakes and stuff. You don't have time to focus on the mistakes. Jump right into the good stuff.
You got 3 minutes
A
on
good
there.
sandwich. Exactly.
You could fit it into 3 minutes.
Yeah. I like to do like something that's the best. Stuff that's good. Stuff that's the best. So that you open up with a good impression and you end with like something really solid.
I wanted to, yeah. Someone in the comments said, don't tell them what's under the rug. They don't need to know that I brushed a bunch of shitty paint on my first painting job. You don't need to know that.
No need. I've seen multiple people where they're like, "Oh, I think I just blew it. I just told them a mistake," and the judge might have never even noticed that mistake if they never brought it up.
But you want to impress the judge for anime. I'm going to bring up Anime North again. I dropped my prop right in front of them and I said, don't touch that. It's fine. I shouldn't have yelled at them, but I was like, it's fine. I dropped it to show you it's stable. Like, that was all.
I was Tomoyo from not Cardcaptor Sakura from Tsubasa Reservoir Chronicle. She has this big like bow head piece that's part of her hair. Mine attached with magnets. So as it's my turn for judging in this big Tsubasa group we're in, I'm like holding my hands out because I talk
With your,
like
I've
this.
been noticing. You talk with your hands.
Oh yeah, I talk with my hands. I'm of French descent. Um, and as I'm going like this and I'm like moving my head, it just falls into my hand. Poof. Anyway, here's my headpiece. So they thought it was intentional. They're like, "Oh, that bit you did was so good," and I'm like, "No, it fell off. It wasn't supposed to do that." The headband with the magnets I had underneath, I accidentally had it reversed.
Oh.
So two of the magnets were not 100% lined up. So it was weaker. So when I went like that, it just fell.
But again, they didn't know. You're like,
They
oh.
didn't know, and on stage it stayed wonderfully. It was great. That thing was solid. But yeah, hilarious moment. That was a good masquerade. That was a Tackathon in like 2019. Very fun. 10 out of 10.
We're
But
about
just
to,
ah.
we are about to hit that 2 hour marker, but
Oh my god.
I have 3 more questions left for you. So, you ready?
Okay. Absolutely.
When you're preparing for a competition build, does this process and does your craftsmanship change compared to a more medium size cosplay?
Absolutely. I try to focus on where can I really show my strongest skills when I pick the cosplay, and with if I'm making this one for a competition, what do I need to do to make it a competition level costume? My bigger builds, I like to like just I'm more likely to go like I'm always trying to make my stuff as clean as I can and like as good as I can, but when it's a competition build, if it needs to be redone 5 times, it's getting redone 5 times.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not a competition build and it's like, okay, I've remade this piece 3 times, or I've redone this hem 3 times, or I've redone this part 3 times, I've unpicked it, I've done it again. And it's like, it's gotten better every time. At the third one, I'll probably be like, you know what? This is fine. This is good. It's not the best, but you know what? I think this is fine. And usually it's stuff that people will never even notice.
Mm-hmm.
I am more and more likely to really push myself with it. It goes in the book more likely because I want to document all the different steps. And I really try to just hone in on like those really important big skills. And competition builds oftentimes, since most competitions I enter also have a skit element, it's so important to plan ahead of time because sometimes you need to build the costume to accommodate the skit. Even if it's not a costume change or anything, it's like, oh, in this skit, I'm going to end up on the ground and dead, which was my Monica skit. I needed to make sure that I planned that cosplay accordingly. I couldn't make it a super boned corset. I needed to like bend over at one point, right? So stuff like that in competition builds need to be considered because I usually enter ones with squids.
With squids. Yep.
With squids. So I have to always keep this kind of stuff in mind.
Someone mentioned in chat the 10-foot rule, and that's what I live by. 10-foot rule, 5-foot rule, whatever you want to call it.
I love those rules. I love those rules. Because honestly, like, if I'm not in a competition build, like, even though I'm always like, I'll be proud of my work, it's still just like, don't judge me as if it is. Just
Yeah.
take it in as a piece from your, again, your 5 foot rule and stuff. Competition build, why are you like up in my seams? Like why
It,
are you all, well, why are you in there?
my YetiCon builds, it might melt off in the sun because there's a lot of glue holding some of those frustrating seams together.
It do be like that sometimes.
Those
Though sometimes
wigs.
Yeti is cold. Yeah. Oh, wind.
Oh,
Yep.
don't say
This year I
YetiCon is
was
gonna
like,
be
I'm
cold.
actually gonna like, I'm gonna thrift some pieces. I'm gonna buy some pieces and just make the pieces that make me happy, aka hats. And I'm like, I don't think people will even care that I didn't make the pants.
People
I think they
see
just like the hat. It was
people will
great.
go, you're
People are like, oh,
cosplaying my favorite character, and that's all they care. They don't care if you made it, you bought it,
exactly,
whatever.
exactly. And guess what? It's just fun. It's so fun.
Yes, I will
And I got
cosplay.
to have fun making the one piece of the costume that I found fun and interesting to make. I didn't have much love for making a suit jacket. I was like, no, I just want to make the hat.
Yep.
So I just made the hat. And I'm like, just don't judge this as if it's a competition piece because it's not.
And someone said, I hope YetiCon is not cold. I think it's 22 degrees for the forecast right now, like between
I would
22 and
love it to stay
26.
there. Oh, don't hit 30 this year. Don't hit 30 this year.
Please don't.
And
Like,
don't be 15 either. Like in the middle, please.
a nice 20 to 27 would be nice.
I will say it was perfect in 2024 when Sam proposed during sunset on the mountain. That was
Gorgeous.
perfect.
I
Perfect
saw the
weather.
photos. It
Oh,
was gorgeous.
stunning. Shout out to Heavenly Visuals for those photos.
Yes. Oh, shout out to Heaven.
Amazing.
I met them once. Such a sweet. I know they're not watching because they don't remember me, but you were such a kind person.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Incredible. Oh, I love her. Jules is incredible.
But with the what's it called? With the Bunny Hill contest that's going on, the swimsuit party that's going on, if it's cold, I'm in the hotel
Oh,
all day. I'm not stepping out.
yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like that.
Okay. For the next question, what advice would you give to a cosplayer who feels like they need to become a YouTuber or a TikToker or an Instagrammer? I hate that word. An Instagram creator.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. Yeah.
to stay
You
relevant.
really don't. You really don't need to. The only reason to have any good social media is just so that when you do meet people, you have a way to connect with them.
Mm-hmm.
Like literally, I know so many people who they don't use their Instagram or any of that kind of like any of their other social media to like become an influencer or anything. But there is pressure to do that.
Yeah.
There are some people I know who gained a huge following despite not actively trying to.
Mm-hmm.
They're just that good and they just post stuff just for a portfolio and again to connect and like, hey, your work's really cool. What's your, and they'd be like, what's your Instagram? And they'd be like, I don't have one. So they made one so that they could connect with those people. It's also a really good way to make a portfolio.
Mm.
Honestly, you don't need to do the whole like following the trends, posting at optimal times. If that doesn't interest you, you don't have to chase it. You don't like the pressure's there and it's so hard to ignore. But like some people say you only get opportunities if you have a big following and all that. It's like
Not
you can
true.
have a it's not true. You can have a smaller following and a really good reputation. You actually some people don't even have social media. I know a few people who are still like getting judging gigs and they don't have social media anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about that kind of stuff. Um, there can be pressure though. Like I get it because I've fallen under it before. But I think my best advice is to always look to see why you cosplay, what you're interested in. If you're like, I just want to share my work in progresses so other people and I can connect with other people who work the same way, just do that. There are some amazing makers out there. That's exactly what they do. Some have followings, some don't. That's just how social media works. Also, like, don't be afraid. Like, some people are like, oh, I only follow people with big numbers. No, no, no.
Mm.
No, there's gold mines out there. Some
Yeah.
people only have 100 followers, and then they post the most amazing work you'd ever see. So, like, never sleep on someone based on a following count because there are some incredible artists out there. And again, these people might be just using it as a way to connect with people they've met at cons.
Mm-hmm.
And that is such a like That's such a good way to use it, honestly. Like, that's originally how Facebook was created, right?
It was just to connect with people you knew. Bring
Yeah,
back casual
honestly,
social media.
and if you start doing that, like, then it's not, oh, these are all my followers, which is like an entity that you don't know. It becomes, these are all people you could probably pick out of a lineup, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
these are people you probably know that are seeing your work. And it's those people who care. And sometimes that just does blossom and grow. I don't
In
know if that's a good way to answer that question,
No,
but
no, it was a great way to answer the question. I in competition green rooms, I'm like, "Hey, can I get your Instagram?" And I noticed like, "Oh, here's 20 different posts of how you made that." Or,
exactly. Oh, I love highlight reels for that reason on the top
"Yes."
of Instagrams. Oh my God, the best. The best. I love stock, like not stalking, but like
No,
it's
no,
that
I'm
like,
stalking
ooh,
your
oh, you
builds.
have a highlight for this, and then you're like, pretty. Wow. I love doing that.
I was talking to Pufferdoodle cosplay and Jill
Love
cosplay,
that.
sweetest people, and they're like, "I've been watching your build on your story." I'm like, "I've been watching your build on your story." Like, we know what
I
we're gonna be
love
looking
that.
at when we come to the con.
And that's truly what community is and what I think the most like pure form of online community is
Mm-hmm.
amongst the cosplay crafting part of the community. Like the hyping each other up or being like you saying like when you're into a bite that like yeah I'm interested in learning tatting because I saw Annie learning tatting and now I'm like what is this and like the two of you went down a little rabbit hole to learn about what it was and that makes me so happy
Mm-hmm.
because first off this is like a thing you don't see very often but that's just the whole like and then I watch like other people's stories and I'm learning about techniques that like I've never heard of this or I just what are my friends up to
Mm.
what's this person I met this one con in Fredericton 2019 up to?
Yep.
And then I see some amazing work and I'm like, this is awesome. Even if I don't always comment on their work, it's just seeing it. It just makes me like the happy chemicals, you know?
A lot. And when people post their cosplay lineups, like right now, next weekend is CSC FanCon. So I'm mentally
Mm-hmm.
preparing myself like I'm gonna see this person, I'm gonna see this person, I'm gonna see this person. YetiCon, which is the bigger con, you know, I'm gonna see this person, I'm gonna see this person, I'm gonna see this person. And when you guys post your cos plans, I'm like, okay, so I need to find
Oh yeah,
a Wind Waker Zelda. I need to find a 2B. I need to find a Chun-Li. Like,
exactly. No, I love that stuff.
very, very important. And for my final question for today, as we
Two
literally
hours
hit the
later, I
two
love
hour
it.
mark, um,
Excellent.
looking back, is there anything you would change about how you managed your time, creativity, content, and just everything around surrounding yourself and your creating journey early on? Like, what would you tell 13-year-old Annie when she first cosplayed?
Stay on this exact path and do not leave it. I wouldn't change a single thing, including some mistakes and some mishaps I've had, because if I never started cosplaying, I never would have met most of the cosplay friends I have now, which some are like are my sister was like, well, they're cosplay friends. Who are your friends in real life? And I'm like,
The cosplay
this is them.
friends.
They're the same people. Who are in my D&D campaign? It's those friends that I've made like 9 years ago at a con in a green room actually, plus like a few extra people on top. Um, it's the I've made most of my friends from it, most of my truest connections from it. I have gotten to do amazing things because of it like travel to Japan and represent the country.
Mm.
I didn't even know WCS was a thing when I was 13. Could you imagine what she would have thought, 13-year-old me, when I had like started cosplaying and all that? She would have been mind blown,
Yeah.
right? She just thought entering a competition was mind blowing. Like going on stage, she didn't realize masquerades were a competition. She just thought it was cool as heck to get on that stage. She would have thought that alone was cool, which I started doing at 16, and I was like, oh my god, I did it finally. Um, but also in my personal life, it led me to realize what I really love doing. It led me to London, Ontario, where I met my now husband in school. So
Oh.
if I never started cosplaying, I never would have met the love of my life. This amazing, amazing man. I have no idea if you can hear me right now. My cat can. I would not have had this amazing job that I have, which I also have a ton of connections and friendships from. I would not have this house that I live in, would not live in Brockville and have the friends that I have here. I would not have the theater community that I have recently joined.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of actually terrifying to think what I wouldn't have had in my life if I never started cosplaying. Like it's actually like a fascinating topic because it's not that cosplay shapes everything in my life, but cosplay indirectly sometimes did.
No,
My
I.
husband didn't marry me because I'm a cosplayer. We met though because I did cosplay and went to fashion school.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
that's
like
wild.
to think the same way. Like I've only been cosplaying for 4 years at this point, but it's
Hmm.
changed my whole life. Like, would
Yeah.
I be? Would my room be overtaken with this evil brocade if I didn't cosplay? Would I have all the skills I have if I didn't cosplay?
Exactly.
My
The
friends that I
friends you
met,
have, the connections, the experiences, the weird fun times where you're laughing so hard that you're crying.
yes, I would be boring as fuck if I, as hell. Sorry, I forgot.
Yeah.
But it'd be.
This is a family show. No.
You watch my interview with Bite. You know how much I cuss.
Oh, I love it. But yeah,
What would I
it's
be doing my
amazing
summers
how
if I'm not at a con? If I'm not traveling across the city and now across the province for
exactly.
these conventions? Would I have as many friends
It's
as I
what would I
do?
be doing in my free time?
Yeah, you're telling me my hobby would not overtake my life and my free time? I like sitting down and watching cringy Disney movies while hand sewing, you know?
It's amazing. Yeah. It's amazing where I've learned all these cool techniques and like found out I really like some of them and yeah, never would have probably realized I had like that sewing makes brain go burr so well.
Yeah. And
Like
Annie, I just want to say with that, that is our final question of the night. I want to say thank you so much for agreeing to be on with this, and thank you so much for coming on. I really do appreciate it. If
thank
you're,
you so much for having me.
of course, if you guys are watching from the live stream, Annie Chi, which is written on this oh my gosh, hello,
The screen.
the screen. What's written on the screen right now? You should be able to search that up on Instagram or YouTube and be able to find their account. If you're watching this
Yep.
on the YouTube video, their account will be linked inside the description. Don't forget to like and subscribe and all that fancy stuff. And
I'll also have it attached to my videos featuring AnnieChie playlist.
thank you.
It's gotta go there.
Of course. I
Yeah, but seriously,
appreciate.
thank you for having me. I love just chatting with people. I think you're wonderful and delightful. First time I met you, I'm like, you're one to watch out for. I'm just so happy to see like your success and stuff like that, and you just killing the game. And I'm really excited to see what you're gonna do next.
Thank you. World cosplay. You know what? I'm gonna get on Fazili's list one day. I'm
You
one step
are.
closer.
I absolutely believe that. That sounds so out of context. That sounds wild.
Oh,
No, but you
update.
absolutely are. You're gonna do it.
If you guys remember the stream with Fazili, there's 2 new Black Masters. But anyways,
Yes.
yeah, I'm gonna end stream now. So I'll see you guys later. You wanna wave, Annie?
Hi
Bye.
guys.